You are listening to Practical and Woo by Mindset and Manifest. My name is Eden, and I invite you to embark on a journey with me to explore the practical and spiritual edges of the unknown for the purpose of allowing you to embody and empower yourself uniquely as you are and to intentionally create and live a life of freedom and fulfillment. Each week, I'm going to discuss topics such as energetics, reality creation, manifestation, astrology, tarot, and more to help empower you to live beyond perceived limitations and to practically design your life so it feels like absolute magic every step of the way. Let's dive in. Well, hello, brilliant soul. Today I want to take you on a bit of an exploration. I invite you to picture something familiar, something you encounter regularly but may not recognize as a wise teacher. I want you to draw to your mind a clothing rack. I know it seems simple, but bear with me because we're going to use this seemingly ordinary household item as a powerful metaphor to unpack how to consciously, purposefully, and intentionally choose your desired reality. Imagine for a moment walking into your favorite clothing store. The first thing that greets you is an expansive rack of clothes. There are all sorts of options. There's jeans and dresses and coats and shirts and of course the occasional item that you look at and think, who on earth would wear that? But the funny thing is, someone else is walking in behind you, reaching for that very thing, excitedly saying, this is exactly what I've been looking for. And there's no right or wrong in this scenario. It's just a preference. Just because something doesn't appeal to you doesn't mean it has no place, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Now, the thing about this clothing rack is that it's holding everything. It's all there. Each item, each style, each color. And while not everything is to your taste, it all exists nonetheless. The same is true for the timelines of reality. As we so often discuss here on Practical and Woo, we know that quantum physics is beginning to reveal the probability of infinite potentials and infinite timelines existing simultaneously, all unfolding in the present moment. In the words of Nobel Prize-winning physicist Erwin Schrödinger, the total number of minds in the universe is one, wherein all the potential realities and timelines that are available for you all exist in this moment for you right now, waiting to be experienced or observed, waiting for you to choose the one that you're desiring to live in. Staying with our metaphor, I want to invite you to think of timelines as the different articles of clothing on the rack. Each timeline of your reality is just like each piece of clothing, existing simultaneously, whether you want to wear it or believe in it or not. Whether you want to avoid it, well, you can't really do that. Even the clothing that you dislike exists. It's still there. It's still available to be chosen for purchase and adornment, just like every other piece of clothing. So instead of worrying about that unappealing pair of pants or letting it occupy your attention, focus instead on what it is you are wanting, how it is you want to express your unique style. Now, if you're getting lost with me, I promise this will make more sense. What if instead of questioning the existence of something you don't like, a difficult timeline, a problem in your life, a fear, a personal or professional crisis, you could simply glance past it or put it back on the rack. Accept it as it is. Accept that it exists, but choose to know that it doesn't have to be for you. This isn't about denial. It's about making an empowered choice. And actually, calling in this imagery to your mind can be an incredibly helpful resource and tool when you're experiencing something less than desirable in your lived experience. You can actually picture putting the thing back on the hanger, hanging it up on the rack, and mentally sifting through the options until you pick out that perfect piece that makes your heart sing a precious melody. In any given moment, you are choosing your reality by what you focus on. No denying the things already created, simply sifting through and choosing the next. The key to all of this is paying keen attention to where you're putting your focus and your attention. Are you focused on what you don't want, or are you focused on what you do want? Imagine walking into that very same store and spending all of your time fixating on a jacket that you absolutely hate. Maybe it's the wrong color or style, or it just doesn't feel good to you. Would you spend hours staring at it, trying it on repeatedly, and questioning its very existence? Probably not. You'd recognize that it's not for you, set it back on the rack, and move on to something else. Something better suited to who you are, something that brings you joy. But here's where things get interesting. In life, we often do the opposite. When it comes to experiences we don't like, we have this habit of mentally trying them on again and again and again. We ruminate on them and spiral them in our mind, questioning, doubting, fixating, and rejecting. We focus so hard on the problem, we question why it exists, we get caught up in its energy, and by doing so, we unintentionally invite it into our reality. We essentially buy the thing we never even wanted. We buy the thing we were so focused on hating. You get to choose what you take from the rack and bring home with you. You get to choose which manifestation of your reality you experience. If you spend time focusing on the undesirable pair of pants, you're letting them occupy your mind and, by extension, your life. I want to again make clear this is not about pretending that the undesirable circumstances of your life don't exist, because they do. It's also not about gaslighting yourself into believing that your life looks different than what you're experiencing, because you're truly experiencing what you're experiencing. The thing is that you get to focus on and experience something different just as quickly and simply as choosing to hang up and walk away from the pants that are not for you. You get to gravitate towards, choose, and buy the ones that are. Your task is to focus on what lights you up, on what feels right, on what empowers you. That's precisely where your energy should go. That's where your attention and focus should be. This is one of the most empowering aspects of reality creation. What you focus on grows and perpetuates. In other words, what you give your attention to, what you allow to live rent-free in your head and in your world, is what you experience. If you continually focus on what you don't like and what you don't want, you are essentially picking that item up from the rack and bringing it home with you, only to look at it hung up in your closet like an eyesore. But when you shift your attention, when you actively choose to focus on the reality you do want, you start to call that into your experience. You begin to align with the version of yourself who is living that timeline, who is living that manifested reality. This is why it's so important to be mindful of where your energy and focus are going. Every moment is an opportunity to choose the reality that you want to live in. Every thought is a thread that weaves into the fabric of your life. So ask yourself, what am I focusing on? Am I spending time questioning why the ugly pants are even on the rack? Or am I directing my energy toward finding the most beautiful, dream-fulfilling pair? When you catch yourself slipping into frustration or doubt, remember that you're not obligated to try on every reality. You don't have to give attention to the life that's unwanted. You have the power to walk right past those pants and head straight for the dream outfit that's waiting for you. Another crucial element here is learning to release the need to control the whole store. Sometimes we get so caught up in wanting everything to look a certain way that we forget the magic that lies in the choice of not controlling every outcome. You don't need to worry about why those pants are on the rack or whether they'll sell. Let someone else choose them. They're not meant for you, and that's perfectly okay. Focus on what resonates with you, on what feels like the best reflection of who you are becoming, and let go of the rest. At the heart of this metaphor is an invitation to reclaim your power of choice, to recognize that while there are infinite possibilities and realities available to you right now in this very moment, you are not bound to any of them. You get to decide. And when you do, you step into a reality that is designed for you, tailored to your desires, your values, and your wildest dreams. So the next time you're in the midst of catching yourself in a mental spiral, stuck in your fears or doubts, worries or discomfort, I invite you to picture that clothing rack. I invite you to remember that not everything is for you, and that's okay, because you get to decide. Your power lies in focusing on the timeline, the reality that is for you, the one that you really want, and you know it by the calling of your heart. There is a timeline that feels like it was tailor-made for you, simply waiting for you to try it on. Until next time.